After 7 years with Lucas, I'd finally waited for his proposal. I gazed at the man in front of me, tears of joy in my eyes, and nodded. But on our wedding day, Lucas vanished. Serena, look at this. My best friend shoved her phone toward me. On Luna's latest Instagram post was a marriage certificate, Lucas's name printed bold and clear. The caption read, "The one who truly loves you will drop everything to rush to your side." I pulled out my own phone and left a comment, "Congratulations on the wedding, wishing you a baby soon." Barely 2 minutes after I hit send, Lucas stormed in, fury carved across his face. "What drama are you stirring up now? I'm just a little late, do you have to be so petty?" I stared at Lucas and at Luna, who'd followed him in, then snatched the microphone from the officiant. "Today is the wedding of my ex-boyfriend and my little sister. Let's wish them happiness and a house full of kids." With that, I shook off Lucas's grip and walked out without a backward glance. "Lucas, this time I'm really gone." Before we go on, hit subscribe and drop a comment telling us where you're listening from. The hotel Lucas had chosen sat right on the coast. The only way out was a single winding road. Rain was coming down in sheets. As I stepped outside, a server hurried after me and pressed an umbrella into my hand, eyes full of pity. I opened it alone and marched into the downpour, desperate to put the place behind me. I hadn't gone 50 yards before Lucas caught up. He seized my wrist, irritation crackling in his voice. "Serena, you think this is the moment to throw a tantrum? Where's your sense of proportion? I only gave Luna what she wanted, what are you so jealous about? Sure, I signed the license with her, but you're the one I'm actually marrying, get it? Can you stop the hysterics and act like an adult for once? Come back with me right now and I'll pretend none of this happened. Besides, if you stomp off, what will people think of Luna?" I flung his and away and spoke, ice cold. "So you've married her, don't you owe her a wedding too?" That scraped his last nerve, his face darkened. "Luna and I are completely innocent, why does your mind go straight to the gutter?" He clamped down on my wrist again, forgetting the injury he'd given me 2 days earlier. Blood seeped through the bandage instantly. He noticed, shifted his grip an inch, wouldn't meet my eyes. I wrenched free, lost my balance, and slammed onto the wet asphalt. The umbrella flew from my fingers. My knee smashed against a jagged rock, blood sheeted down my shin and splattered across the white wedding gown. For once Lucas looked uncertain. He crouched to lift me, but the moment his hand brushed my arm his phone rang, Luna's personal ringtone. He shot me a guilty glance, straightened, and answered. "What? Luna, you hurt your hand? Don't worry, Big Brother's on his way, wait for me." He hung up, glanced at me crumpled and bleeding, hesitation flickering across his face. "Serena, come back with me. Luna's hurt, the ceremony's off anyway. You're injured too, I'll drop both of you at Seaside on the way." I laughed, bitter. "Go fuss over your wife, now." His last shred of patience snapped, he hurled the umbrella at me. I flinched, certain he meant to hit me, and scrambled backward, forgetting the ocean was right behind me. I hit the water hard. As I went under I saw Lucas's face twist in contempt. "Serena, seriously? You'll pull a stunt like this just to keep me here? Everyone knows you swim like a fish, stop embarrassing yourself. I've spoiled you too long. Stay in there and think it over. When you're ready to behave, come find me." He spun on his heel and left without a second glance. The instant the sea closed over me, cold bit through to my bones. The sodden gown dragged like lead, it was day 1 of my menstrual cycle and my knee throbbed. I thrashed, but every stroke pulled me lower, my thoughts blurred. Fine, Mom, the only person who ever loved me, was gone. And the man who once promised me the world had married my sister. There wasn't much point in staying alive. I let my eyes close and felt the water swallow me whole. I thought that was the end, until I woke under fluorescent lights in a seaside ward. The room was empty. Then the door opened and a man about my age stepped in, vaguely familiar. He set a thermos lunchbox on the bedside table and glared at me. "Serena, nobody can trap you except yourself." The words hit like a slap. I jerked my head up. He went on, undeterred. "My parents abandoned me, classmates tormented me, and the grandmother who swore she loved me tried to sell me. I figured life was over, so one rainy night I walked into the ocean. A girl risked her life to drag me out. Because of her I learned that everything I thought was holding me down was really just smoke." He held my gaze, silent afterward. The memory I'd shoved down exploded. I buried my face in the blanket and sobbed. That girl had been me. Fate's strange, sometimes the rescue you get isn't luck, it's repayment for a good deed or a right choice you made long ago. When the tears finally stopped, I was calm. "Lucas, as of this second, I am done with you." "Ethan, how have you been all these years?" Back then, after I hauled him from the surf, I'd slapped him, spat some harsh truths, and walked off without a word. He grinned. Thanks to you, the world didn't lose a brilliant entrepreneur. I gave a small laugh and said nothing more. For the next few days, Ethan took care of me while Lucas never once tried to reach me. Once upon a time, I would have blown up Lucas's phone with calls and FaceTimes until he finally caved and comforted me. Now I only wanted him out of my life for good. The day I was discharged, I went back to the apartment Lucas and I had decorated together. This time I was here to pack my things and leave for good. I'd barely stepped inside when Lucas walked in. Seeing me, his expression softened. Good, you've had time to think. I'm willing to let bygones be bygones, no apology required, but pull a stunt like that again and I won't be so generous. Here, I brought you flowers and cake. He thrust the roses and mango cake toward me like he was doing me a favor. I ignored him and kept typing a reply to my lawyer. The moment I'd walked through the door, I'd called an attorney. Lucas and I might never have filed a marriage certificate, but every dollar that started his company came from me. Why should he keep it all now? When I stayed silent, Lucas's temper flared again. Serena, I thought 2 days was enough for you to realize you were wrong, but clearly you're just pushing your luck. I lifted my gaze, flicked from the roses to the cake. Roses, my first severe allergy. Mango cake, also lethal to me. I'd only ever had 2 allergies in my life, and he'd managed to buy both. In 7 years he'd never given me a single gift. The first time he tries, he practically hands me a loaded gun. My voice came out flat and arctic. Take your trash, I don't want it. His face blackened, he shoved the roses and cake against my chest anyway. Can't you be more like Luna? She was afraid you'd flip out, so she begged me to buy these for you. You're the older sister, act like it. People are laughing at us. The moment my bare skin brushed the roses, angry red hives flared across my arms. Luke's scolding dried up in mid-sentence. He stared at the rash, stunned. Then, as if the memory finally clicked, he looked away, awkward. I've been swamped, and Luna cut her hand. We just forgot you're allergic. But you get it, right? It wasn't on purpose. I ignored him, walked to what used to be the medicine cabinet and yanked it open. Plush toys stared back at me, rows of googly eyes where antihistamines should have been. It hit me all at once. Luna had called Luke at midnight, sobbing that her mom called her childish for still collecting plush toys, kicked her out, and threatened to toss them. Without a second thought, Luke had drive and over, hauled her, and the toys, here, and cleared the cabinet for her babies. I'd been away. When I got back, he'd shrugged and said, I stuck Luna's plush toys in the cabinet, and I'd let it slide. Now the shelf held nothing remotely medicinal. Luke followed, saw the pastel wall of stuffed bears, and shifted uncomfortably, ready with an excuse. Before he could speak, I spun on my heel, pulled out my phone, and ordered antihistamines for delivery. My indifference flipped a switch. He grabbed my wrist from behind, voice sharpening. Serena, I already explained. Are you seriously going to keep this up? Don't push me just because I spoil you. I watched the fresh bandage on my wrist bloom red again. I kept my tone flat. Luke, if you want me dead, just say so. The dramatics are exhausting. Something in my words hit a nerve. He squeezed the wounded wrist harder, eyes bloodshot. Serena, damn it, are we done yet? Keep throwing tantrums and we're through. Don't expect a proposal, you'll be begging in vain. A soft laugh escaped me. Fine by me. He froze long enough for me to wrench free. What did you just say? I met his eyes, voice calm. I said, Luke, we're over. Good. Remember those words, Serena. Cry, kneel, I won't take you back. Don't come whining later. He stormed out, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. I settled back on the couch, flicked through Instagram. Within 10 minutes, Luna's newest post popped up. Pick 1, a bouquet of roses and a mango cake. Pick 2, Luke kneeling to tie her shoe. Caption, I told him roses and mango cake were out, and without hesitation he trashed them and got me exactly what I wanted. Luckiest girl alive. I liked it and left a comment, trash meat bin, match made in heaven. No mystery now. Luke's sudden gift was just Luna's rejects. My phone buzzed, Luke calling, Ethan texting. I sent Luke to voicemail and opened Ethan's message, an invitation. The day we met, Ethan had told me his old dream finally came true. No to see. In the envy in my eyes, he'd urged me to pick mine back up. Luke and I met freshman year. I ranked first in design, he was in CS. We teamed for a competition, clicked, started dating. Like any couple we studied, ate, coded together. At graduation, to avoid long distance, I followed him to his coastal hometown, shelving my offers. I freelanced wedding gown sketches while he launched his startup. His stomach ulcer hated alcohol, so I drained every toast on his behalf, landing each partnership. When the company stabilized, both his parents fell ill. I juggled my portfolio and parent care until exhaustion landed me in Seaside. Luke sat by the bed, eyes red, promising I'd never suffer again once we married, swearing he'd carry the load. He asked me to pause my career, keep house, keep him healthy. I said yes. From that hospital night on, my dream stayed comatose. Looking back, I'd been an idiot. A woman never trades her career for anyone. I silenced Luke's texts, swallowed the allergy pill, did my makeup, and slipped into a gown for tonight's gala. Back then, when Professor heard I'd quit designing for a man, she'd called dozens of times. I'd ignored every lecture. Tonight she's hosting the gala, I'm going to apologize to her face. I turned down Ethan's offer of a ride and drove myself. I hadn't even locked the car before I spotted him. Ethan closed the distance, grinning. Butterflies? Thank you for remembering, I laughed. He just smiled. To dodge drama, I took his arm as we walked in. Across the room Luke's gaze locked on us, Luna forgotten, fury written all over him. So this is why you insisted on dumping me, Serena? You already had him waiting? He reached for me. I stepped back, voice ice cold. Hands off, sir. Your fiancé is watching. He glanced at Luna, still tried to yank me away. I looped my arm tighter through Ethan's and moved toward the terrace. There she was, Professor. I hesitated, but she was already striding over. Teacher. I started, cheeks burning. She hugged me hard before I could finish. Welcome back. My eyes stung, I hugged her back, wordless. We moved aside, talking until both our eyes were wet. You were the perfect balance of talent and grit. Watching you quit for a guy wrecked me. But you're here now, never too late. I nodded. What's sis doing here? Luna appeared on Luke's arm, voice syrupy with triumph. I didn't spare them a glance, kept chatting with Professor. Luke's face darkened, he opened his mouth, but Luna cut him off. Professor, hi. I'm Luna. I just snagged Best Emerging Talent. You're my idol, please take me as your protege. She batted her lashes, certain the resume would wow. Professor glanced at her, then turned to me. So, still claiming me as your mentor? I beamed, linking my arm through hers. Absolutely. Best professor ever. Luna's jaw dropped. Professor, Serena's nobody now, she blurted. Pick someone worthy. Choose me, I'll grind 10 times harder. When Professor stayed silent, Luke stepped in. Respectfully, Professor, Serena's my ex, her design days are long gone. Luna's the rising star. She's your best bet. So, between the two of them, Luna's the one with real potential. At that, I lifted my eyes to the man in front of me and said, voice dripping with sarcasm, oh? And I shelved design all these years because I was lazy or because I had no talent? I just took a wrong turn while I was temporarily blind. For you to assume it's permanent is pretty arrogant, mister. Plus, you and that lady already signed your marriage certificate. How shameless can you get, wanting your cake and eating it too? Luke's face turned the color of slate under my rapid-fire words. He couldn't squeeze out a single reply. Professor wrapped fingers around my wrist and towed me to the center of the banquet hall. Tonight I'm announcing one thing, this woman is my only protege, and her brilliance is beyond question. From now on, don't let any second-rate fruit clutter my doorway claiming they want to be my ass. Tudn't. With that, Professor gave Luna and Luke a look loaded with meaning. Luna glared holes through me, Luke didn't look any happier. After saying goodbye to Professor, I started for the exit. The moment I stepped outside I ran straight into Luna and Luke. They'd clearly been lying in wait. Luna blocked my path. Sis, why did you steal my spot? Her eyes shimmered with tears, her face a portrait of grievance. Because I'm better than you, deal with it. Luke's expression was a tangled mess, but he stayed silent. I couldn't be bothered, I brushed past them. As I moved by Luke, he shot a hand out and caught my arm. Serena, when are you coming home? I flung his hand off so hard his knuckles cracked, then laughed in his face. Home? What home? Dude, are you delusional? His voice turned urgent. Serena, I've been swamped lately and I neglected you, but there's really nothing between Luna and me. Before he could step closer, Luna clutched his forearm. Luke, my stomach hurts. Luke froze, his eyes flicking between us in indecision. I sneered. Go play nurse for your wife, hurry along. I spun on my heel and left without a backward glance. The next few days I studied at Professor's studio by day and drilled alone at night. My schedule was packed. One afternoon I arrived at the studio to find Luna loitering by the door. She'd obviously waited for me. She strode over the instant she spotted me. Finally. Let's keep it short, Serena. 2 things. First, stay away from Luke, stop clinging to him. Second, take $1 million and hand Professor's opportunity to me. I laughed out loud. After all these years, Luna was still this self-important. On point 1, can't help you, you'll have to tell Luke yourself, since he's the one chasing me. On point 2, also impossible. Keep dreaming and get lost. Busy as I'd been, I was also on edge. Luke seemed convinced I was throwing a tantrum. Every morning, noon, and night he sent my favorite sunflowers. I tossed every bouquet into the trash and blacklisted every number he used. My words wiped the color from Luna's face. Don't get cocky, Serena. Don't forget, your mother's final letter and keepsakes are still in my hands. My stomach lurched, though I kept my face neutral. All those years I'd given ground to Luna and her mother not because I was weak, but because those last mementos were their hostage. Damage even a corner of them and I won't hesitate to drag us both to hell. That froze Luna for a second. When it wore off, she lunged at me in a rage. Caught off guard, I hit the ground hard beneath her. A cramp knifed through my lower abdomen, cold sweat poured off me. What's happening here? Luke sprinted over, and the commotion brought Professor to the doorway too. The moment she saw them, Luna's whole demeanor flipped, her voice went soft and wounded. But before she could accuse me, she noticed both men staring in horror. Serena, you're bleeding. My eyelids turned to lead. The last thing I saw was Luke rushing toward me in panic. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in Seaside. I tried to lift a hand, but it was numb, something heavy pinned it. I glanced down, Luke's fingers were clamped around mine. Apparently I'd woken him. He raised a haggard face and studied me for a long moment. Then it clicked. He seized my hand, eyes bloodshot. His voice shook. Serena, I swear I didn't know you were pregnant, I had no idea. We'd been together 7 years, and he'd always wanted a child. But the doctor had told him his odds were almost 0. I'd swallowed my own longing so he wouldn't feel worse. Now the baby had arrived, and slipped away, at the worst possible time. I gave a faint smile. Looks like even heaven could see how wronged I was. Tears flooded his cheeks. He tried to pull me into an embrace. I rolled away and let the gesture fall into empty air. We'll have another baby, Serena. Right now you need to rest. Stop thinking so much, I'm here. I stared at him with arctic eyes. I already told why. Oh you, Luke, we're nothing to each other. Your being here makes me sick. His face blanched, but in seconds he'd pasted on a gentle smile again. Serena, I know you're furious I married Luna behind your back, but it's just a piece of paper, you're the one I love. And Luna didn't know you were pregnant. You were both emotional that day, the miscarriage wasn't intentional. Tell you what, let Luna come explain, and I'll make it crystal clear that we're basically strangers and the certificate was only to humor her. Perfect. I had a few things to discuss with Luna myself. She'd finally pushed me past the limit, and I'd already gathered some evidence. No more retreating. Luke thought my agreement meant I still cared. Joy lit up his face. I lay down and rolled away, ignoring him. He moved fast. Within 10 minutes Luna stepped through the door. She wore a hospital gown too, eyes wide and pitiful, comical, really. Sis, I honestly didn't know you were pregnant. I'm sorry. Luke gazed at her with tender concern, then looked at me expectantly. I didn't spare him a glance. Luke, get out. I want to talk to her alone. He left reluctantly. Luna even shot him a reassuring nod. The instant the door shut, she dropped the act, flopping onto my bed with a smirk. Serves you right for going against me. Now that you've miscarried, what leverage do you have? Before I could answer, she barreled on, gloating. Did you know? When you were hospitalized last time they'd already detected the pregnancy. I had the report buried. You didn't think it was an accident, did you? Consider this your warning. Cross me again and I won't be so polite. My eyes burned, but I laughed softly. Luna, you realize that's a crime? She shrugged. So? You've got no proof. Walk into a police station and they'll laugh you out. I can flip this and accuse you of slander. Oh? Who says I've got no proof? I raised my phone and waggled it in her face. Honestly, Luna, you're an idiot. I was going to coax the confession out of you slowly, but you couldn't wait to incriminate yourself. Her face drained of color, she glowered at me, trembling with rage. Serena, you recorded that? Delete it right now, or you'll never see your mother's trashy keepsakes again. My face went storm dark. Luna, I'm warning you, don't make a move. I've got something you never saw coming. Luna, never having been spoken to like that, lunged straight at me, hands reaching for my throat. I hurled the cup in my hand toward the door. The crash brought Luke charging into the room just as Luna's fingers clamped around my neck. Panic flashed across Luke's face. He yanked Luna off me and shoved her backward. Luna, what the hell? Your sister just had a miscarriage, she's weak. Are you out of your mind? Luna's eyes turned red-rimmed, hurt pooling in them as she stared at Luke. Before she could open her mouth, I thumbed my phone and blasted the recording at full volume. The ward fell dead silent while Luna's haughty, smug voice spilled out, loop after loop. She dove for the phone, but Luke kicked her aside. She hit the floor hard, disbelief written all over her face. Luke, you actually hit me? Luke's skin was ash-gray, eyes bloodshot as he glared. I've given you everything because you once took a knife for me, and this is how you repay me, killing my baby with your scheming? He grabbed her, the two of them locked in a savage tangle. I watched with cold detachment, palm resting on my empty belly, whispering another apology to the child I'd lost. The door swung open. Professor and Ethan stepped in, two officers right behind them. The instant Luna spotted Ethan she froze, voice trembling. Ethan, is it really you? They'd missed each other at the last gala. This was her first look at him in years. Ethan swept her with a disgusted glance. Don't brother me, I'm nobody's pet. She acted as if she hadn't heard. Ignoring Luke's curses, she crawled forward and threw her arms around Ethan's legs. Ethan, I've waited for you forever. I only married Luke because I was forced. I'll divorce him right this second, just don't shut me out. Luke's rage ratcheted higher. He fisted her hair and jerked her back. You begged me to sign that marriage certificate so you could fulfill your dream. Now you spin it like I dragged you to City Hall? I'd seen enough. I gave the officers the short version. They led Luke and Luna away in cuffs. Professor folded me into a hug, voice cracking. It's okay now, I'm here. I hugged her back, tears slipping down my temples. A few days after discharge, the police released them both. I threw myself into my work, body healing, mind catching up on everything I'd missed. I moved to a new place, only Professor and Ethan knew the address. I didn't expect to step outside one morning, trash bag in hand, and find Luke camped on the curb. His hair stuck up like a bird's nest, eyes hollowed by sleepless nights, the same wrinkled, dust-coated shirt he'd worn that day clinging to him. He scrambled to his feet, gaze pleading. Serena, every wrong is mine. I swallowed Luna's lies the second we got out. I've already divorced her. You're the only woman I've ever loved. Please, give me one more shot. I tried to walk past without looking at him. He caught my wrist, desperation etched on his face. I wrenched free, the trash spilled across the pavement. Luke, stop degrading yourself. We're done. Finished. Let it go. I pointed at the mess. See that trash? Once it's scattered it can't go back in the bag, and neither can we. I turned to leave. He dropped to his knees, scooping soggy scraps together, puddling sauce and bones into a heap. Look, Serena, I'm putting it back. If I try hard enough, we can fix this too. The man who'd once flinched at touching a takeout box now knelt in sludge, hands streaked with garbage, but I felt nothing. I walked away. For the next several days the doorbell rang like clockwork, morning, noon, night. Each time Luke stood there clutching armfuls of sunflowers, a thermos lunchbox, ribbon shopping bags. The first few rings I mistook for food delivery and opened up. His face lit with hope. Your favorite flowers, sunflowers, just like you love. You're still weak from the miscarriage. I simmered chicken soup, drink it while it's hot. And these are all the brands you used to browse. I bought everything in your size. I shoved him backward without a word and pitched every last item into the corridor. As the door slammed I saw him slip, soup exploding over his shirt. I called building security, they escorted him out. For a while the hallway stayed quiet. I healed, then plunged headfirst into sketches and fabric boards. One rainy evening I headed to Professor's studio, portfolio clutched under my coat, heart light with anticipation. The downpour was torrential. I opened my umbrella and splashed toward the garage, only to spot Luke again. Soaked to the bone, he cradled a cardboard box, eyes begging. Serena, I found out about your mom. I brought everything back. I took the box, murmured a chilly thank you, and reached for the car door. His hand clamped around my wrist. Voice shaking, he asked, is there really no way back? 7 years, Serena, not 7 days, 7 years. I know I screwed up, but please, one last chance. Could we start over? Not a chance. I'd needed 7 full years to see him clearly. I wasn't diving back into the fire. I jerked free. Luke, I don't love you anymore. Stay away from me, final warning. He lost his footing and sprawled on the asphalt, rain mixing with tears. I shook him off my leg. Keep pushing and I'll hate you for real. I climbed into the driver's seat and sped off. I never saw him again. I filed suit against Luna and her mother. The evidence was rock solid, 20-year sentences. The day Mom coded I knew it wasn't natural. I spent years collecting proof, and finally the truth surfaced, they'd been poisoning her medication. Justice served. Luke called later, I declined, blocked him for good. A text. T from an unknown number flashed, I'm sorry. I'm going to become a monk. I deleted it. He could grow wings for all I cared. I channeled everything into my label. At 29 I won the industry's top award. That night Ethan proposed, I said no. We've got dreams to build, and I'm just getting started. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and drop your thoughts below. Subscribe for more. See you next time.